Hello and welcome to the GBHL podcast. You're here with your host GBHL Jamie.
And Mark.
Mark is back again after the back rep, or before you've seen the back rep. I don't know what the release order of this is going to be. Mark's come to my house today. We've recorded the back rep already and now we're doing Speak Friend Question. Unfortunately James and I couldn't meet up again. He is busy recording for Hotgates Gaming, so go and check out that channel if you've not already. He's got some great adventures in order over there for Lord of the Rings, and he's got Abattoir Way Days for Guild Ball as well, so definitely go check that out. But we're going to do the questions from my Speak Friend Question last week first, and then move on to questions from James's. And I think James will also be doing a Speak Friend Question, so comment again on both videos. Right, so first off, we've got Wah! He says, interesting format for Speak Friend Question when you're on your Todd. Makes sense, as looking into a camera on my own would drive me mad. At least this way you get some hobby time in. Yes, it was. You've not seen last week's, have you? No. So I spent last week at my desk hobbying away whilst answering questions, because if there's not someone else here to talk to, I'm not a fan of staring at myself and talking.
I think it would be a bit strange, wouldn't it?
So I got some hobby time in. And Wah says, this week's question for the loop has an insatiable appetite. He says, we are going to host our first ever pay-to-play tournament in July and are hoping to attract players from out of town for this. What scenarios, custom or standard, make for good event packs? I ask, as you all attend thousands of events, and who better to guide us through our first major event to make it as good as we can make it? Many thanks for your help and see you next week. So, what do you like in a scenario pack?
My favourite scenario is Domination.
The correct answer.
Yeah, I think everyone does like it. But I suppose it's just a balanced one, so not something that favours a Horde army, not something that favours an all-hero army.
Yeah.
Just make it balanced. A good event pack can be scenarios from the source books, it can be all unique custom ones, a mixture can work. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm happy to play any scenario, really, it doesn't really bother me. But
I think if it's your first one, I would go for standard scenarios, so everyone's on the same playing field. And they do pair up quite nicely. Like if you take Reconnoiter, which benefits a Horde army, you can take Lords of Battle, which benefits the all-hero, and they sort of counter each other out.
Yeah.
And if you try and have a nice balance in there, then people will generally want to go to that event.
Yeah.
Alright.
Is he from UK or is it?
Don't think so.
No.
Never ask me this because I don't know people's locations. And I can never put people's faces to their names either. Next up
is how on earth do you pronounce that?
Yeah, I don't. He's said you can call me Ilmar.
Oh yeah, so this is from Ilmar. So it says, how long does it take for you to paint a model and how much for a hero? I seem to be painting very slowly and I'm looking to paint faster to get stuff done for tournaments.
So for me it depends what I'm painting and to what standard. Like a warrior I will probably get done very quickly because they are one amongst many if it's a sort of standard warrior. And heroes I try and spend a bit more time on.
Yeah, from your hobby vlogs you can just reel through them. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of painting. I don't really enjoy it, so mine is probably very slow. I get easily distracted. Like I said, I prefer painting metal models. I seem to take a bit more time on them. I don't know why, but I just enjoy them more. But
metal models.
Yeah. So mainly the heroes and then any like elites that are metal.
I think it's because because they've got a bit of weight to them.
Yeah.
They feel like they're worth something.
Yeah.
Whereas when it's plastic, it's like it's plastic.
Yeah. But it can really depend.
I think for me, I would tend to spend 3 or 4 hours on a hero total.
Yeah.
But what I'll do, and which is probably why I seem to paint so quickly, is that I'll have lots going on. So I'll do a layer, put it to one side, let that dry, paint something else, come back, do that. So I'm never not painting essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it can depend what mood you're in, what you're watching.
Yes. Yeah. What you've got on in the background is like if you get something. I think I tried doing it with Vikings, like the series Vikings, and some really interesting things will happen, and I'll just end up watching it and like rewinding it because I've not paid attention, and I'll be like, oh, this is really good, and then oh god, I've wasted 40 minutes because I'm not painting. I'm sure I get a drink in a sec.
Yeah. So, do you want me to read the next one?
Yeah, if you want to start.
That's why you've gone and got a drink, isn't it?
I'll take this one. It is a list one. It's from Son of Gloin. He says, "Alright fellas, a good format for a one-person speak-friendly question. A nice change-up. Sorry Jamie, but another 450 points army list." Right, so Gimli with Elven Cloak, 3 Iron Guard, 3 Khazards, 5 Warriors, 4 with Shield, 1 with Banner. Balin with Durin's Axe, 3 Iron Guard, 4 Khazards, and 3 Warriors with Shields. Total 448 points. Thanks again, guys.
Can the Gimli have an Elven Cloak that's in Durin's Folk list? Is Durin's Folk, is that what it's called? Can it?
Yes, he can.
I thought it was just a Fellowship one. Oh, no.
No. It used to be that way.
Yeah.
The Durin's Folk army list in Legions and Middle-earth couldn't have an Elven Cloak, but they pretty much just mashed everyone's one generic profile, so yeah, he can take it.
Alright.
Let's have a look.
Seems alright.
It seems alright. The other thing I say in dwarf armies is don't underestimate the dwarf bow, and you don't have any.
Yeah.
Which would be my suggestion, just because it means that if your opponent has lots of bows, you've got to go to them, and they can sort of dictate where the fight happens.
Yeah. A banner at 450 points does seem a little bit of a point sink. I'd maybe. I mean, are the warbands full? No,
that one's got space for 1. That one's got space for 2. So if you drop a banner, that's 25 points. So you could get, you've got 2 points left. So another Khazard, another Iron Guard.
Yeah.
So
you've got 2 points left over. So where could you spend them? Maybe.
I don't think there's much you can do. Oh, you could upgrade 1 warrior into a Khazard.
Yeah.
Warrior with shield.
Yeah.
That might be an idea, just to bump your numbers up. Maybe put some bows in would be my suggestion as well.
Yeah, get some bows, yeah.
They're still defense 6, fight 4, so they're pretty decent in a fight.
I never used to, but I really rate 2-handed weapons at the moment, so maybe get 1 or 2 in.
Just to be able to...
that hit 1 hero that's defense 8 or whatever.
Yeah, piercing strike 2-handed because they've all got the axes.
Yeah.
It is a big bonus when you've got the crowd out and trapped and someone goes...
Yeah.
Like use 3s to wound or something.
Yeah.
But next up...
I don't think I should read this because I don't think this is meant for me.
Billy Fitzmaurice says... It's Billy Fitzmaurice and he says, "You're welcome, sexy," winky face.
What's in this reference to?
This is a reference to Billy bought me my Throne of Skulls tickets.
Oh, nice.
Because I was waiting for payday and then they put up the post saying, only 20 remaining. And I was like, oh no.
What do I do, yeah.
I'm not going to be able to do it. So I put a message saying, like, I hope I can make it. If not, I'll still be down to see everybody because it's a big event. And then I got a lot of messages in from friends saying, if you need me to buy a ticket, I can do it for you. And I was like, I think Billy was the first. I was like, yes,
yeah, please,
I will pay you back on payday, which was yesterday, and I've paid him back now.
Oh, nice one. So at least you can come, then you're not worrying about...
Exactly.
Because if they all sold out...
They all sold now, 100 tickets gone. It's crazy, mental, it's crazy.
Good,
biggest event yet.
Yeah.
And I'm sure James will try his best to make Ardacon even bigger and better, but I'm really glad to see it has sold out.
Yeah.
Right, next up
is Tai Matsushita, I think, is that how you pronounce it?
I'm not sure. Matsushita.
Really enjoyed this format. How would you feel about using foreign companies' models to represent dwarf captains? And I'm looking for heroes that look right leading Dwarf Rangers, and they seem to be the only ones that fit the bill. Also, am I crazy for taking Dwarven Rangers? I like the look of them, but their profiles seem very odd. Any tips on how to gear them?
Yeah, so I think you could get away with using a few as captains. Like, it is an aesthetic that's missing from the Dwarven list, a sort of a ranger hero, as it were. Yeah. And they fit the bill because they're in like leather armour as well. Yeah. It would seem quite weird though, them being sort of defense 7 yet being leather, basic.
Is a basic dwarf captain defense 7?
Defense 7, defense 8 with a shield.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, Marine and Dry, you were kind of like
they were the
dwarf and ranger profiles, but they don't look like a dwarf ranger, do they?
No, they don't, because Muriel's got this big shield and heavy armour, and Dra's just an archer essentially. Yeah, I think
you could get away with it.
I think you could get away with it, definitely. Yeah. And if your opponent says no, then just have the captains ready to stand in, I would suggest.
Do any of them have, Thorn's Company have cloaks?
I don't know. Dory looks like he does. Oin does, I think. I think Oin's got his hood up.
Maybe the one with the hoods would look good as a ranger captain.
Yeah, I think they could fit the bill.
Yeah.
And are you crazy for taking Dwarf Rangers? If you're taking pure Dwarf Rangers, you might be. They're not all that great.
No. It's the special rule. It's never going to be.
You're paying for that to move through rocks rule for no good reason.
It's never going to.
And the
throwing weapons are alright,
but they pay so much for them. They pay 3 points for their throwing weapons, whereas everyone else pays throwing daggers and throwing spears are 2, where their throwing axes are 3. I don't know.
I think that's a
carryover from what they used to be, because they used to be, and they still are, 7 points. But a dwarven special rule essentially was that you got your 2-handed axe for free. They now pay a point for that, which is a letdown for them. And the move and shoot rule never used to be in effect, and there were 3+ shoot value with thrown weapons, which was very good. And there were some armies out there that had sort of, how it used to be, like 20 bows, 20 thrown weapons, and 20 axes, all Dwarf Rangers led by Barlin is one that springs to mind. But nowadays with the move and shoots, they're not fantastic. You play good versus good, so elven shooting and dwarven shooting wins them on 5s, whereas it used to be on 6s from evil with strength 2 bows. So they're
a little crazy, but who cares?
Just do it. It will look cool. It'll be fun. And any tips on how to gear them up? I guess if you're going pure Dwarf Ranger, you have to sort of go 1/3 with bows, and I would be tempted not to take thrown weapons and just hoard out. Two thrown weapons is essentially another Dwarf Ranger. Because you're only a point off.
You can't take shields, can you, on them?
No, unfortunately not.
I mean, 3rd bows. I mean, the long bows, aren't they? So they've got extra range.
24 inches, hitting on 3s when they don't move. Strength 2, so it's always been a trade-off between the dwarf longbow and the dwarf bow.
I think the bow's better.
I think the bow's better. 18
extra defense.
18-inch range, defense 6, and strength 3. It makes a difference. Alright, best of luck. Let us know how it goes.
David Whittaker's next. He's put, hey guys, the Wizards Alfred Bomber list was kind of a joke. I'm guessing he said this last week.
This was his army for Throne of Skulls, what he was thinking of taking.
Well, all 3 Wizards, Alfred and Bomber.
And I was like, that can't be, because he's going for best sporting, because that's how you're going to win Throne of Skulls. I was like,
you're not going to win.
So the Wizards maybe, Alfred and Bomber, no.
It was kind of a joke, but I think I'll play test it anyway for a laugh. I am most likely going to be taking Minas Tirith, or Lake Town Militia to Throne of Skulls, but 3 months is plenty of time for a complete change of mind. Really enjoyed this format, encouraged me to crack on with a spot of hobbying myself. Painting a bunch of Matt Davis bases. Are they the stone ones?
Yes, they're the stone ones. He's got 2 kinds. He's got the I've forgotten the name of the city. Dale style bases, like Ruined Dale essentially. And I believe he's working on a project for another base as well, which I think I need to keep secret.
No question yet, but keep up the good work, and I'll see you in April.
Yes, we shall see you at Throne of Skulls. And Minas Tirith, I think, will be a good list. And that one sort of could get you some points.
Definitely,
especially if you take along like Denethor and people. Denethor and the Faramir and Boromir, that'd be a cool little family.
Or you could do after Death Boromir and do Faramir Ranger maybe, and Denethor and like a Baragon. That'd be cool.
Purposely hinder yourself with Faramir. Don't take his heavy armour, his shield, his lance.
Just give him the bow.
Just the bow. Alright. Well, thank you for your comments, and we shall see you in April, if not sooner, David. Next up, we've got Drusif the Gamer. He says, thanks for answering. So now I'm in the loop. I've collected for a few years, but never anything specific, just whatever I fancied at the time. Now that I've started watching your videos, I definitely want to start playing the game. So number 1, what would you say is the best way to decide on an army to specialise in? And then, what is the best way to get into the game, bearing in mind that none of my friends play? Thanks again. Also, that Dwali model frustrated me too when I assembled him. So I had trouble with him. I had to pause the camera and fix him off screen and come back.
How is he built? Is it because he's like this, isn't he?
He's like that, and he's got like a connecting piece. It's sort of like almost like a triangle,
right?
And it's got to go over his head and click in.
So it clicks into his back.
Brings his arms properly in.
Right.
I just had a bit of a moment with it where I just couldn't figure out how to
Get in,
maneuver
yeah.
it to get in.
Yeah.
And then I sorted it and it was fine. But I had to pause because I was getting frustrated. So what would you say is the best way to decide an army to specialise in? Do what you like the look of, or what you think you'll like to play, because that's what you're going to enjoy using, is the sort of standard answer we give to that question.
Yeah.
Because if you take something that you think might be the most powerful on the list, you might just not enjoy using it. I think.
And also go before you decide to to get everything for that army. You've got to realise that some of the stuff may be out of production. So if you want to get what's probably the most out of production army at the moment.
Dunland.
Dunland. Yeah. So if you want to start a Dunland army, you've got to realise that you can't get the bowmen, you can't get the two-handed guys, you can't get the captain or the banner.
Yeah.
You can only get Thride and the shields.
Thride and the shields,
so you think before you start the army.
You commit,
Yeah, that you might not be able to
good
get some of
advice.
those things.
Just steal that for future Speak for questions. Next up, Wasadi 1969.
Hey again, lads. You're far blasted through those minis, Mr. Giblin. I seem to spend hours cleaning flash off of them. 3 minis in the afternoon is about my usual rate after I get the filing and sanding done. Are there any armies that were popular on the tournament scene that just don't appear anymore? Awesome content from an awesome channel, as usual. Wes.
Armies that were popular that we don't see anymore. Grey Company, I'd say, were one that were very... Because we both started playing sort of the Legions of Middle-earth era, back when you could have one hero and 70 troops if you wanted, which feels crazy now. But Grey Company were a list that popped up on top tables very often at tournaments, but they don't appear so much anymore because you now need a hero to lead the troops as well as the Rangers. I think on the whole, Wood Elves have declined a bit just through Rivendell Knights appearing, who can do what they do but better. Although they're still competitive, just not as. Hurl has brought them down a notch as well.
Yeah. Just shooting in general, isn't it? You see less shooting armies now. The only ones you really see are Isengard, Elves and Harad maybe?
Yeah.
Is there any... if you see a Grey Company forced in, they'll have boys, but you don't see them often.
No, they're not.
There's not
as
many
popular. Yeah. I think that would be it. The shooting dominant armies aren't as popular as they used to be.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
And just the army builds in general, like you say, years ago you'd have Legolas and 70 Wood Elves.
Oh, the glory days.
You'd have, like we were saying earlier, Barlin and
60
dwarves. Like it's just armies in general have changed, haven't they?
It's good. Yeah, it's just all changed basically.
For the better though. Can you imagine the tournament now if you had Legolas and 70 elves versus Barlin and 60
feels
dwarves?
I feel like even at some point a back rep might be worth doing with the old scenarios and the old rules where you see Legolas.
Oh, the old scenarios.
Some of them were crazy. Like I tried to implement in the To Kill a King scenario we played. If you remember, the original To Kill a King was when the enemy general is dead, you have won the game and the game is over. And like so many times at sort of grand tournaments, like because I've taken Legolas, 20 Wood Elves with bows, 40 with throwing weapons. It's like, alright, 20 shots at your general. Legolas ought to hit your general. Oh, it's not dead next turn. Alright, killed him. We've got an hour to kill now. Sorry, pal. Some of the scenarios I think were very good, some of them not so good. There was one that I used to love. Ill Met by Moonlight.
Oh, was that
That was one where your shooting range was reduced to 12 inches. But you gain +1 to wound on it. And you set up like we are currently in contact.
That was a good one. I used to like Storm the Camp.
Yes.
That was quite a good one because it was the whole how much do you commit to attack and how much do you commit to your defence. That was quite a tactical one.
That was good. That was always good. They had that one in Stirling, or very similar style to it. They had Capture the Flag.
So you had to get it from your base to their base, opposite.
So how was it? Like the board was essentially cut in half down the middle. You had your flag in your base, they had their flag in their base. You had to defend your flag, go get their flag, but also then bring it back. If you got it back into your half, you gained more VPs.
Alright.
So if you held it in their half,
so it's like modified season prize.
Yes, But it was a really cool idea because it sort of brought back those choices of who stays on defence, who goes to attack.
Yeah.
So for me, the hobbits defended, and the rest of the fellowship went to attack. And they did a good job of it as well.
Yeah. That,
and that was...
Who was that?
We got well sidetracked.
I think have you scrolled? I don't know. Have you scrolled?
Well, last one we do was
It was this one, wasn't
yeah,
it?
so
Yeah.
it's Jericho Jackson next. I'll say it. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if it's me. Hi guys, in response to GBHL James' Speak for a Question vid, I think it's a really good idea to make the tickets available to international guys a day ahead or so. And how do I sign up to be notified for this? Cheers from Jericho. I assume this one will be about Ardacon, and James will give you the full details, I would assume, in his Speak for a Question or in the Ardacon Facebook group. We shall move on to Saruman the White.
Saruman the White has put James got a total of 3 points and Jamie got a total of 3 points. It's a draw.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I'll see if I can go find the quiz that you gave us and see how you do on it.
Oh,
I won't know.
Probably not very well.
It's about Australian slang.
Australian slang. Oh, okay.
And I saw some of them translate quite well. Some of them are completely mental. Let's see if I can speak friend and question 105.
I bet some of the the words we associate with Australian are probably not actually Australian words. Like
Quite, yeah. Who was it who asked the question? Was it Saruman the White?
Saruman the White.
Saruman. There he is. Right. These ones here. So I'm going to shoot through to Macca's DeSarvo.
Going to shoot through to Macca's. Is
I-
Macca's McDonald's?
Yeah, I think this is one of the ones I got right.
McDonald's this afternoon.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
go to McDonald's this afternoon. Okay,
Yeah.
so, oh, what a nice looking Sheila.
Well, Sheila's girl or woman, isn't it? So
Yeah,
that's just
yeah.
a good looking girl.
Yep. Ugly Ranger walking down the road.
Ugly Ranger. That always obviously like a derogative word, isn't it? It must be like just ugly person maybe? Ugly.
That's what I said.
Yeah, what you said, yeah.
That's what I think, but I'm not sure which ones I got right. So, Barbie.
Is that like a plastic girl, like fake?
Oh,
Fake
yeah, you
stuff.
might. That could be. I said barbecue.
Oh God, I didn't even think of that.
But I think that's really what you read. Oh, that's a Barbie girl.
Maybe, yeah. If it was because it's spelled the same way as the
brand,
toy.
yeah. Bloody Oath.
Bloody Oath. Oath, the same as what an hour oath is? Or Bloody Oath. I don't know half that one. What did you say?
I think I thought it might be something like, you know, you stub your toe and go blooming hell or something.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
So something that's not a swear but is,
Yeah, maybe.
you know, like an annoying thing.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm not sure. Sangha.
Sangha. Sangha. Sounds like a dance, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sangha. Is it a drink of some sort?
I have no idea what I said for it.
No.
I don't think I just skipped it because I have no idea. Bloody Boggin.
Oh, these are getting hard.
Yeah,
Those ones are quite easy.
It gets more and more Australian as the list goes on.
Bloody Boggin or Boggin. Again, maybe that's like a swear word, but not a harsh swear word, like our version of
Damn or something.
Yeah.
XE is chockers, mate.
Exit chockers. Could that mean like hard? Do we say that? It's chocker block.
Oh, I said chock a block. I said that. I think I said for this one that whatever XE is busy.
Busy.
Like if it's
maybe.
If it's chock a block.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's a Scouse term, but chock a block. It means
Chocker block.
Oh, I went the races today. It was chock a block, so I
Yeah.
couldn't get in, or something like that. Would be.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it has something to do with it being busy or hard or.
Fair dinkum.
Fair enough, maybe fair.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Fair, our sort of version of fair dues.
Yeah, fair dues.
Yeah.
Togs.
Maybe just like cheers or something.
Oh,
Maybe that's what they cheers to togs.
Well, Sam on the White, you've got a whole new set of answers. That's not how marked it.
So you got 3 points.
I
Which
got
ones
3
do you
points.
think you got right?
I think I got the first one right.
Second one.
Macca's
In
this
the
afternoon.
Yeah. Walking down the street.
Yeah, so Pretty Girl,
Yeah.
got one. And I don't know what the one I got right.
No.
Maybe
They were hard.
They were tough. Like, it gets considerably more slangy as
Yeah.
it goes down.
It's weird though, like living in the UK, there's so many, like, if I went to Newcastle or something, which could only be an hour and a half, 2 hours away, and totally different dialects. You've got Liverpool the same.
It's strange how our country is so small. Yet we have such very regional dialects within such close proximity.
I was in Edinburgh not long ago last year, visiting a friend. It was good.
It's a tease the Scots.
We'd been on a night out and there was a fish and chip shop open at like 2 in the morning, which I thought was amazing because you never have a fish and chip shop open that late.
No.
So I asked for a fish butty, which to us is like a fish in bread, like a fish sandwich. And they had no idea what a fish butty was because I was drunk. I was trying to explain. I don't think
it's a butty.
Yeah, it's bread but fish, and it's a fish butty. Yeah. Would you call it a fish butty or fish bap or fish?
I'll call it fishing balm.
Fishing balm, fishing balm, as well.
Yeah, it's not start balm and cobs and all that.
Yeah.
It's devolved into
different argument.
Okay, so he says, you are tied for the King of Australia, but unfortunately, due to the stalemate, you get nothing, scrubs. Oh, well, we're not Australian. I don't want to be the King of Australia. It sucks. My question for this week is, have you guys heard of Pike and Shot by Warlord Games? Have you heard of it?
No.
I've heard of it. It's something I had a look at getting into, but just didn't commit to because I didn't want to start a new army because I knew no one round my way would play it.
Yeah.
So it's a really simple yet really fun version of Warhammer Fantasy, but set in a historical 17th century during the 30 Years' War. It's an extremely easy game, quite a fun one, and the models, most importantly, are actually cheap. I highly suggest you check them out. See, it was something that I was very interested in doing because I like that period of history. However, finding someone else with that sort of keen interest to buy and paint that period of history is quite tough, I find.
Yeah.
And a lot of historical wargamers are very old men and stuffy, and I just don't think there would be the sort of the same connection that I have with the Lord of the Rings crowd if I went to a Pike and Shot event. Second question, he says, with my Goblin Town force, since they can carry axes for no extra cost, can I give them axes? Or even two-handed axes? Or would that be considered cheating? So I guess this is the idea that your Mirkwood Rangers have the twin daggers in their profile, so you can't give them axes.
Yeah.
But Goblin Town have an assortment of weapons, some of which are axes. So I guess you could.
Yeah, people do, don't they?
Yeah.
Like do like a third with axe, a third with dagger, a third with club or something.
Yeah, I guess you could do it. So
it wouldn't be that cheesy because you can imagine a goblin horde just having any weapon they get their hands on.
Yeah.
It's a bit different if you if you give it to like a Mirkwood Ranger or something because it's not really meant to be.
It's not what they're supposed to have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess you could, and it says two-handed weapons, so you could give them two-handed axes if you wanted to.
Yeah, because they can take a two-handed weapon, can't they?
They can, yeah.
Yeah, that's a point.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be considered cheating if you were to give them every single one in your army and convert them to have an axe. I think it would be considered cheesy, but not cheating.
Yeah.
Just it's a bit unsporting.
Yeah.
And since he is an Argonian in Skyrim, we call him Lizard Boy.
I don't know what that means.
No, it started about 4 episodes ago. And next up,
that shows how far behind I am.
Yeah. Good, you got your internet back.
Yeah, that's bad. Acton 39. Desolation of Stockport is all paid for. Woo! I'm trying now to decide which tournaments to go to and what to take to them all. I think I could make up to, if not just surpassing 6 tournaments this year. Double of what I managed last year. That's in my first year, which was last year. I'm just trying to think what to do for Mansfield for 400 points. He's either going to take Thorin, King Under the Mountain with Orcrist, Dwalin, Champion of Erebor, Dora, Champion of Erebor, and Feely, Champion of Erebor. I thought about having Keely rather than Dory because of the Ravenhill theme, but I really like Dory's model much more, and he's a lot better, and I'd otherwise be low on points. Help convince me this was a good decision, this or just the Balrog. I'm going to say, when's the second option coming? Yeah, so that or just the Balrog.
Or just the Balrog. Oh, by far Thorin's the better option. The
Balrog would be fun though. It might be fun to play, but
I don't know. I think it'd be quite dull to play as the Balrog player because you've got no might, and your only hope is your opponents could, if they're so inclined, just hide their general.
Yeah.
and you will
never get to it.
You'll never get to it. And you probably won't win most scenarios. I think you'll have more fun because you've got might to play with, and you've got things happening in the game with Thorin, Dwalin, Dorian, Feely.
Yeah.
Because you also care about those characters a little bit more, whereas the Balrog,
you don't care.
You don't really care about him. You just throw him in and hope he lives.
Yeah. I know you'd be low on points, but I would consider maybe doing Feely,
Dwalin, Thorin. I think you'll get more sort of kudos from your opponents that you've gone for a certain theme rather than gone for the most optimal.
Can Thorin take any other equipment? The King on Demand.
Not King.
Can he? Can't take
he's not got that with him. But
that'd be cool.
I think go for Feely and Keely and get that Ravenhill theme going. Next up, we've got King Boneseye. He says, I am wondering if an Army of Thrall list is competitive. I will most likely bring Khazards for tournaments, but I really like the idea of all Hobbit dwarves. I also love the SBG profiles of Thrain and Thrall, as well as Thorin and Dwalin. Can you give me any tips? Thank you.
An Army of Thrall list.
Yeah, Army of Thrall can be very competitive. They're just dwarf warriors with the option for spears, essentially.
Yeah. Plus some good heroes.
Yeah, fantastic heroes in Dwalin, Thorin and Balin. Obviously at tournaments you can't use the SBG profiles of Thrain and Thrall because they're custom, but in your friendly games they're also very good as well. They're very, very good. King Boneseye goes on to ask 2 more points. He says, please help me with tips to bring people into the Hobbit. I've seen the Q&A, but I feel much is to be wanted. Like points on why a non-wargamer would like to play it, as well as points as why 40kers should play SBG. Also, the advice of letting them use the cool guys is much more difficult because I don't own any of the starter sets. I think my dwarves are really cool, but I don't think it works the same way. Yeah, so...
It's that question asked a lot, isn't it?
It's a big question.
Yeah.
Like, if it's tough to get a non-wargamer into wargaming. I think the wargaming crowd are drawn to wargaming for some reason. I think if I went upstairs and knocked on my flatmate's bedroom and said, do you want to play SBG? Like, not really.
Yeah.
Like, he might do it to be polite, but he probably wouldn't have the drive to go on and do it.
Yes.
But if I asked him to play on the Xbox, he'd be well up for it.
Yeah. You could. Someone that doesn't play video games, to ask them to play would be quite easy. But that's someone that doesn't play war games, to ask them to play would be hard, wouldn't it?
It's much more difficult because there's such a bigger learning curve, I think, for any war game, and I think it's losing it, but I think it's still got the stigma that you're playing with little toys.
Yeah.
Rather than a grown-up's toy.
Yeah, it's hard for them to overlook it and see it that it's just a fun game with mates that's entertaining, rather than they look at it as you're playing with toys.
You're pretending to be a little man. Oh,
yeah.
I'm going to kill you! sort of thing.
Yeah.
As for getting a 40k into play, again, it's kind of tough. People have got into 40k because they like the sci-fi element of what the hobby can bring, and converting them to a fantasy-based game could be quite tough. It's not. Don't try to not convert them, but I think you're going to have a tougher time getting a 40k to convert to Hobbit than you would be someone who's fallen out with fantasy and Age of Sigmar. Because you go, oh well, this is essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of world. Whereas when someone's dropping a giant robot down into the battlefield, it's different to relying on Aragorn. Yeah.
It would be hard because the flip side of it is I would probably not really enjoy playing 40k. I've never played it, but so it's hard for us to say why can't we get them into it, but then do any of us play them really? Yeah. I mean, people will and people will enjoy it, but I personally probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I think you like to have your core gamers who will enjoy the system and want to play it and not want to try anything else.
Yeah.
I have played 40k, but I sold my army because I really didn't enjoy the world it was set in.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was kind of cool. I enjoyed reading the books, but playing the game, it never felt the same to me.
Right.
So I sold off and probably wouldn't go back to it. So it's an interesting question.
Yeah.
As for letting them use the cool guys is more difficult because I don't own any of the starter sets. The starter sets are the best way to get someone in. If they can relate to Aragorn and Boromir or the dwarves, then they're more likely to get into it because they recognise it from the movies.
Yeah.
It's the simplest way to play the game as well.
I think the best starter has got to be Balance 2, man.
Balance 2 is fantastic.
Play that, and if you let them play the Fellowship and then
win,
you just lose on purpose and by only putting like one in against
Aragorn, 2 against Boromir. Oh, but you've got the horn. I failed.
Yeah.
Then they get.
Because that is a great scenario, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you can learn them into like not tell them about staff and just say, oh, Gandalf's got 6 will, and you can just use a couple of spells or something.
Yeah, he's got 1 dice for a spell, and then you slowly introduce them to the full rules.
Yeah.
That way, the other thing is, when I played my first game, we played without might.
Alright, yeah. And
just had Barlin's Tomb versus the Fellowship in Barlin's Tomb versus Goblins with no might at all. The Fellowship still won, but it was. I think I chose to play as evil because I wanted to challenge myself for some reason straight away.
Yeah.
And we had a really fun game. The Fellowship won, but I really enjoyed just playing
it. Yeah.
And so you'll find people who do like it, but 40k is probably the wrong crowd to be drawing into a fantasy setting. Right, and finally, here is the big one. Oh my goodness. I want to start a league to grow the hobby and get SPGs together. Unfortunately, I have just about no idea how to do it. So please give me all the advice you can. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. This league in the UK sort of grew because there were pockets of communities already. I think the more important thing than getting a league together is grow your local community. Just Facebook's the fantastic tool for it. If you can get on Facebook, say, we're meeting on Thursday at 5 o'clock in this location. Who's coming down? And then you just keep doing that every single week. And hopefully people turn up and make friends, you play games, and you go back to see your friends, not to play the game.
Yeah.
And because you see your friends, you get the added bonus of playing the game with them.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to do it. And then once you've got a community and there are other communities that you might reach out to, then you can have a league where we have it, where there's tournaments all across the UK. But it's no overnight project.
Yeah,
put it that way.
It's going to be a slow process, isn't it? You're not going to be able to just say, right,
I've
set up this league.
Where's my 100 players?
Yeah. And I know you said not to ask, but I'm guessing it's not from the UK. So
no, I don't think it can.
So it's outside the UK. I'm not sure what the scenes are like in certain countries, so it's hard for us to say.
The UK is a really sort of weird place because it's got a very high population density in a very small location.
Yeah.
So it's arguably easier for us to find people to play against because there's lots of us around in a very close space.
Yeah.
And travelling isn't terrible.
No, yeah.
Whereas if you're in America or Australia or somewhere, you're looking at, we were talking about this earlier, like a day's travel to go see someone to play a game.
Yeah.
It's a much bigger commitment. So sorry we can't help you anymore, but I think the best thing to do would be to ask that question in the Great British Hobbit League Facebook page, and you probably get people willing to spend a bit more time to type that up rather than whittling whatever comes into the head off. So best of luck though.
So next up we've got Mr. Schnobler. Didn't have a question this week but want to stay in the loop, so do you prefer burgers or pizza?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, well we had a burger today.
We
had burgers today.
I think... Oh, I don't know, because if you go to the extremes and say, like, right, if it's a well-done burger or a well-done pizza...
Even though we did have a burger today, I prefer pizza, but it depends what it is. I think you can ruin a pizza, but I never really. If it's just a simple
it's hard to ruin a burger.
Beef and cheese and a bit of salad, you can't really ruin it.
Yeah. Like Rustler's is probably the lowest burger standard you can reach.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Dodgy van somewhere.
Yeah.
But even then, you still accept it. It's like, that's a burger.
Yeah.
Whereas a pizza can kind of, as you say, be
if it's
ruined.
too doughy or it's got the wrong toppings or.
Do you like Domino's pizzas?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, what base do you get?
What are the types? I'm not sure.
You've got the standard one, the stuffed crusts, double decadence where you get the layer of herb and cheese.
It's just the standard one.
I see. I've switched from standard to thin and crispy or Italian based.
Oh yeah.
Because something I found was that I was getting really full whilst eating Domino's pizzas because the base is so big.
True, yeah.
So I've switched to the skinny bases so that I can enjoy the toppings more.
I'm not sure, I haven't had a Domino's in a while, but I think
They are expensive.
Standard. Yeah.
This is something in America. Domino's, dirt cheap.
Really?
Yeah. Like dirt cheap.
How much is...
Like we pay about sort of if you don't go on a deal for some reason like £18 for pizza.
Yeah.
They pay like maybe $7.
Really?
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah.
Like because it's just I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah, like you say, I think the last time I did it was actually the Six Nations rugby tournament because they had a deal on it. It was like a Six Nations deal, and it was like 3 pizzas, a couple of sides, and a big litre for like 25 quid or so.
That's good, yeah.
Whereas if you just did it on its own, that'd be like 50 quid or something.
Not more.
Yeah.
Right, and then he says...
also, here is a list for Into the West. Did we even answer that? Did we say burgers or pizza or burgers?
Oh no, I think we just talked about it.
I think mine would be
right, I think pizza.
Yeah, mine would be pizza, I think, yeah. Here's his list. So Gimli, who's his leader, 10 Khazar, the Elven Twins, and they're in horse and armour, and 12 Warriors of Arnor. It's saying 9 might at 450 points. I wanted to try sneaking Alfred into the list. This wouldn't really work unless it was 500 points. What do you guys think? My main issue is dealing with Felbeasts, I think. I always forget what the Warrior of Arnor is. It the same as Warrior of Mistherf, or is it a bit different?
Yeah, so it's the same as Warrior of Mistherf. It's fight 4, but courage 2. So
right,
you go up and fight, down a courage.
And they all have spears, don't
Spears
they?
and shields, they're all defense 6, yeah. You know, they're very good troops. If so why you the Felbeast issue, you have to take it out in combat. Yeah. So you're gonna need to put one of the twins in there for the higher fight and the Elven Blade. Yeah. And have the Khazar guards go in whilst Gimli's still alive, so they don't have to take courage tests, and then support with the Warriors of Arnor. Yeah. I mean, Felbeasts don't turn up all that much. It's just that the top players will bring them. So if you're on top tables, you expect to see them. Like, they're good, but they're not unbeatable. No. They're too good.
And you've got the strength 4. You've got the the Khazards. You've got the Elven Blades. So you can win the combat. So you could take them down. Like you said, no shooting. That's the only thing. You have to go to them. You have
to go into them.
It's a good force.
And also the hurl won't hurt you as much, which is a less attractive thing because it's 6s to wound everyone. Yeah. So you might do alright. Let us know how it goes. Unfortunately, I won't make it down to Into the West because I am at a Guild Ball event that weekend.
Is that the Cardiff one?
Yes, the Cardiff one, yeah. But best of luck, Mr. Snobler. Next up, we've got Jürgen Björvik. He says, have you guys ever bought some models and then a bit later regretted buying it? If you have, which one? I don't know about regretting buying it. I've regretted definitely thinking of doing a conversion, cutting into something and going, oh no, I've ruined this model. But I tend to be quite frugal with what I buy. Yeah. So.
And if you do buy something, you might not use it straight away, but there will come a point.
There'll come a time when you do it. Yeah. And to be fair, I've got a box of Palace Guard that I bought when they were released, and they've sat in my case. I've opened it, looked at the blister, and put them back in. And they've sat there since they were released. Yeah. And I don't regret buying it, but I just know it's there, and it hurts me sometimes. So I'm like, I've still not done them. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe more a bad paint job you might regret it, or a bad conversion or whatever.
It's
usually when you've done something that has rendered the model like less useful in game, or sort of, or less sort of personally valuable to you.
So next up is Chris Murphy. My question is, how do you put the arms on the escape from Goblin Town to
Yeah, thanks Chris. You know how to do it, you've done them already.
Larry Miller's next. A question for James this week.
Oh dear, he's not here.
He's not here now.
We can try.
If the King's Huntsman could lead troops, would you consider using him to lead an infantry warband? He seems like an amusing hero, but isn't really good enough for an all-hero list, and is too much of a point sink for proper armies. So you never see him. You never see him used, which I think is a shame. What if you could also mount him and use him in an all-mounted force?
If he could lead troops, I'd definitely take him. Do you know his stat line and things?
Is it something like you re-roll in the ways and...
Yeah, so he passes in the ways in a 2+.
Right.
He's got a strength 3 bow. He's he's got a 3+ shoot value.
Right.
But when he kills a hero,
Might.
I think he recovers might spent previously or something.
Well, all might.
I think, or he recovers a might, or he recovers might spent used to boost the shot or something. It's something along those lines, but I know it's very. I think it might be all might spent, because it is really good.
How many points is it?
He's 50, but he's an independent hero and he can't be mounted.
If it was mounted, that'd be quite good.
Yeah,
you can just sit in behind a few of your riders and
just
pop up. It'd be like a Legolas.
Yes, okay.
One shot in, probably getting through and getting might points back.
I mean, I would love to see them. I think I'd love to see a list with like Legolas with Elven Cloak and Armour, or just the Elven Cloak, and then the rest of it Huntsman. It's like, we will kill the heroes. But they've got one attack, so they die as soon as combat ends.
It's a weird profile. It doesn't really fit with.
It doesn't work.
Where did that idea come from? Like,
and the fact he got made like, because he was released with the Kingdom's Men source book, and that's when they introduced independent heroes. Yeah. He seems so odd to be independent. Like, if he could lead troops, he'd be great. Maybe that's why he's independent, because if he could lead troops, he would be too good.
He should be like a sentinel. Like, he should be a troop.
An expensive troop.
An expensive troop rather than a.
Yeah, if you strip his might off him, make him 25 points. Yeah. And have him just be like a strength 3 bowman who can reroll or he passes in the ways on a 2+. Yeah. I don't know. I think that would be fair.
Yeah. If he could lead troops or if he could be mounted, I think you would see him on.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Tom Turtle. He says, "Cool format, Jamie. Can I ask why you use super glue on plastics?" The reason is I have super glue readily available, so I was using that. But I've also sort of I tend to use it a lot more because the weld isn't, or the joint isn't permanent, so you can break off super glue, which is a weird thing you want in a model. But let's say I position something wrong later on, I can go, alright, well, if I'm careful, I can pry that off and go again.
Yeah, I use super glue on plastics, but
actually the reason why is that nothing is unsecure, but nothing's permanent on it either. That was my reason for doing it. Yeah. Next up, I'll finish up because that was a short one. Yeah. You got the Commander Kaiser. He says, "My question this week is, out of the uncommon army lists, what is the one you'd like to see more of played, be it for fluff reasons or a coolness factor? Personally, the Commander Kaiser would go with a completely themed Dunland list as something I'd like to see more of." We've actually got a fantastic battle report with the Dunland Horde versus Rohan, so go and search the channel for that because that's a fantastic one. Yeah. I think it's like Dunland attacks Erebus or something.
Isn't it just? I think it's called like epic battle report.
Epic battle. I think it's the attack on Erebus. If you search that, you'll find.
I love that every warrior was pierced strike 2-handed. Like, it was just pierced. Like it was.
So alright, you've charged with the Sunveil.
Yeah. Pierced strike 2-handed.
2-handed pierced strike. It didn't pay off. And when it did, it didn't feel like enough was being done.
Were they all Ian's models?
They were majority Ian's, yeah. All the 2-handed, all the bows were his. I had 2 warbands put in there, and he had the rest.
Where does he get them all from?
I don't know. I'd like to know.
Yeah, it's a good battle report, isn't it?
It's good. So if you want to see a Dunland list, go see that one. And uncommon army list that you'd like to see.
I like Numenor. I always say that. But it's just because
they're awful.
Yeah.
But they've got good heroes, but their troops are just terrible.
If you could have like a Numenor cavalry, I think that'd be good. Yeah. So you still have the rubbish troops, but you maybe got 2 or 3
really good
knights with lances behind. It could
just be a bit of punch.
Yeah, just something different. Yeah. But because Elendil's a ace, I like Elendil.
Yeah, Elendil's very cool. I'd like to see more Mahud and Candish armies, but they are tough to build en masse because they're all metal and like we mentioned at the very beginning, they are out of production, so they're a tough army to get unless you've already got one. But other than that, I think everything's
definitely Dunland. Yeah, you just like armies like that to be expanded on. You'd like back in Legions where they've got Dunland Berserkers
and Royal Bloods and
like you just want to see what they were meant to be.
Out army list and what was the. What was it? It was Dol Guldur had black-hearted trees and werewolves.
They did, yeah.
And there was a stone giant.
Stone giants, yeah. You just want to think, what could they have been?
What were they?
A tree? What could it...
what profile would a black-hearted tree have?
I bet it like didn't move. I bet it was just one like you paid to put on the table and went near it. Yeah.
Like a little... I thought it might be like a little ent. Like a really small version of an ent.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, there are also things like elven chariots and elven catapults. Yeah. It's like, where do these come from? Like, I'd love to have seen the profiles and models that they had in mind.
It just never came about.
Never came about.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's answered that question. We're gonna go over to the one with James and just have a read through, see if there's any different questions that we can answer in there.
Yep.
Wait, loads. I can cut this out.
What's your internet gone?
Let's refresh. Oh no. Ooh.
Oh, something's happening.
Oh god, what?
There we go. Is that some smile?
Yeah, no. Right. Rubbish first.
Will you be able to remember what we've already answered?
Yeah, there'll be some that I recognise names. Okay, so we're back after a little bit of technical difficulty. Got the questions for James's Speak for a question now. So, Drusif the Gamer, I recognise that name, we have answered that one. He said he's asked the question.
Yeah.
7th grade, so son. He says, thanks for the answer, James. Yes, I'm definitely going to Stockport in April. Good man. I shall see you there. And I think you're bringing your Harad army. We talked about that. He'll be figuring out the plane tickets and tournament tickets very soon. He's curious to know what you would consider to be a really nasty Scorpion Sting army, so 50% Harad list. He's been considering putting the Betrayer in there for the rerolls of 1s and 2s, but once again, he's more into bringing what he thinks will be cool rather than what's the best of the best.
If you're going cool, then just basic warriors.
Just basic warriors, with a smattering of elites in.
Yeah. I mean, in the Serpent Sting, what can't you take?
Essentially, it's the Corsairs.
So you can take Watchers and Fat Guys?
Yes, yeah.
So if you were going like horrible, you'd go 50% Watchers with bows, and then loads of Fat Guys with Spear Sport.
Yeah. Well, I think the most disgusting list I've seen is the 50% Watchers backed up by 50% Serpent Guard with Spears.
Alright.
And so the Watcher...
because they get reroll ones.
They get Poison Blades, and then the Watcher rerolls feints to reroll 1s, but you keep the fight 4 from the Spearman.
Yeah.
So you've got 3 dice to win the fight, fight 4, all rerolling 1s to wound. It's like, it is pretty grim.
Yeah. And plus, if you have the Betrayer in there, they get to reroll. Is it 1s and 2s shooting?
The back rank rerolls 1s and 2s for poison. Yeah, it's grim. But regular warriors with a smattering of the elites, I probably think is the nicest way. When we've told you the nastiest.
And then maybe like Soladan and
I think Taskmaster's the way.
Taskmaster,
just to get them all the free might.
I hate the Golden King.
Oh, Golden King's a nightmare. If he's still got 6 will by the time you break, it is not fun.
It's practically impossible. Like
I think even a wizard has to roll. Because he can -6 from your roll, so essentially your courage 1, so you have to roll a 9.
Plus you've probably spent a lot of will at that time.
And you've probably not got your will in.
Even if you rolled a double 6 for courage, that means you've only really rolled a 6 because you can get rid of 6
of it.
So
you need to be courage 4 or higher.
You need to be
And then because the way it works is that you both secretly write down how much you're willing to spend. He could be bluffing you and go, well, I didn't spend any, and you've gone, well, I had to spend all my will in case you were going to spend all yours. And next time he goes, you're gone. It's grim. It's horrible. It's a really good rule. But it's horrible to play against. Next up is Akthon, who has asked the same question. It's about the Dorian Thorin. I'm not gonna. Lulu21Do63 says, "You like this figurines? Take a look at my videos." Take a look of my videos. King Bonsai, we answered that one about Thor being competitive, and he's asked the 3 questions again. War says, "Double rainbow."
That's a great video.
Good video, good reference. It says, "This is fantastic. Double the videos, double the fun. One of my all-time favourite Sundays. I feel your Sundays have something to be desired about if seeing a double video of Speak Friend in Question is one of your favourites." We've answered this question because it's on mine. But he said it was great seeing Scott Malley and Gilmero make an appearance on Speak Friend in Question. I guess that was people asking questions. I recognise the name Ghost.
Oh, right, okay.
Daniel Theory, I don't believe we answered that one. If you want to.
Happy Hobbit one and all. Well, let's start with a thank you to you guys here at GBHL with finding your channel and seeing all of your hobby vlogs. It's encouraged me to continue my Lord of the Rings hobby that I had since left behind. Now with Warhammer Age of Sigmar making me lose interest in fantasy, this has given me ample time to go back and look at how badly I had painted all my old Lord of the Rings models, in brackets, and they were bad. 2 questions. Seems like I'm jumping into the loop here. Firstly, theme-wise, who would be the ideal hero to lead an army of Dwarf Warriors, Rangers and Khazad? Secondly, with Games Workshop looking to take Lord of the Rings, the specialist games, how do you think they will promote the game in terms of new models, rules and the like? Thank you kindly and all the best.
Okay, so welcome to Speak Friend in Question, GBHL and The Loop. You're now stuck. Forever. You're going to ask us a question if we answer. So, best theme-wise, the idea here to lead Dwarf Warriors, Rangers and Khazad. For all those 3, I think Balin, if you're going on Balin's expedition to Moria, because you would have your elite guard, you'd have your Dwarf Warriors as your regular troops, and he did have Rangers to go scout ahead of his army, so Balin's probably the most thematic out of them. But any of them, any of them work.
This is a discussion a lot of the time, and do you take Balin with Durin Zax or Gimli? And you're always on the Balin side. I think I'm on the Gimli side.
I think because I've played against so many ring wraiths, I value the extra point of will so much more rather than fate. And I think I prefer having 3 attacks to win the fight because you got the reroll. And then 2 dice with +1 to wound. Because like when you hit something that's defense 7 with Gimli and you want to go 3 attacks, it's 6s to wound. Balin's still 3 attacks to win it, but then 5s to wound it. So he's good against other dwarves. Is the big thing.
They're both very good though.
They're both solid.
But all dwarf heroes, there isn't really any bad dwarf heroes really.
The only ones I think are Murin and Draw, and maybe Murin. Just because they're fight 5 and that little bit below par. But they're still good heroes. Like you can take them in any other list. So when you've got Gimli, Balin and Durin available, they all look a little bit less.
I don't see Floyd that much. Is he around a lot? Or
I think Floyd pops up every now and then. Plop. There's a Floyd. I think excuse me. We're recording here. Being able to take away special rules is a real major benefit when you take a pure dwarf list, because you can get rid of essentially a spell that you don't have access to. And it can be really good for, there's some really weird rules that you can take away. Like people take away fly from a fell beast, so it has to move 6 inches along the floor. It's like, well, how is Floyd reading from a book not allowing the fell beast to fly? So, that thing uses its wings. He goes, no I don't. Walks on the floor for their turn. It just makes no sense. But you got some good heroes to choose from.
Definitely.
What was the second question? Going to a workshop, taking specialist games. How do you think they will promote the game in terms of new models, rules and the like? I reckon we're going to get like a splash release of Iron Hills Dwarves. So Dane and everyone. And then I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of all-in-one boxed game. With rules for miniatures that you can use in the Hobbit strategy battle game. Sort of like they've done with Betrayal at Calth, where they put a lot of 30k miniatures in a 30k board game. But you can feel free to use these miniatures in the 40k universe if you so wish. That's how I see it going, because that is the model that they seem to be running with at the moment.
But those, like the 30k one, do they have specialist jobs for that game?
Well, They've got like Games
Or does the
Workshop
40k
specialists.
people do it?
They've got Games Workshop specialists for their own IP.
Right.
So they'll probably work on a project, release it, work on a project, release it.
Okay.
And then they've got their own Lord of the Rings or Tolkien Estates team,
Right. Okay.
essentially.
Mm.
So we might see more regular releases,
Yeah.
or it could just be because it's not their own IP, they need a different team for it.
See, I don't even know if it will get Iron Hills. I don't know if they'll just go straight to the. I want them to.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was shocked that
It happened.
it's happened. So I'm a bit like I don't know
what to expect from
what to expect. So it would be good if they fill the gaps where they could.
Yeah.
And then move to, like you say, like a specialist box game or something.
Yeah, box game. And I think a box game would be a great way to get people into the full game. You go, hey, let's play this board game with the models. Oh, that was cool. Why don't we play it without the board?
Yeah.
And play it on the table.
Yeah.
And you could do it that way. Next up, Matthew Zammit has said, hey, long time since I posted anything. Really enjoying the content you've been working on. There's a real lot coming up every week. Yeah, that's something we've been trying to do is fill up the midweek days as well.
Yeah.
My question for this week is, which model would you get taking into consideration aesthetics and competitiveness? Radagast on Sleigh or Radagast on Eagle? Considering this one on Sleigh, he just looks awesome. Hope you're doing well.
So the aesthetics first, the Sleigh.
The Sleigh's cooler than the Eagle one.
I don't think I've even seen the Eagle one, but everyone says it's hard to put it together.
I've seen the Eagle one. And it is nice, but the Radagast on Sleigh is more iconic and cooler.
Yeah.
But for competitiveness, Radagast on Eagle, he is like the best assassin in the game.
Yeah.
Like fight 7 basic,
3 attacks on the charge,
6 on a knockdown that can rend, so it's 6 dice
yeah.
in 3s. Oh.
And it's 12 inches, so you could heroic combat from 12 inches
something.
away.
Yeah, it's got fly. It's a better fell beast, but you pay for them. So.
Yeah.
And when you dismount, you get an eagle.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like
and it's got 6 attempts at an immobilise.
Yeah.
So you're going to get 5 of those.
Yeah.
So very good, yeah.
Next up, we got Trodecan.
It's put, hi, what a great surprise to have 2 speak friends and questions in the same day. Thank you both for a very clear answer last week. Here is my question for this week. I really love to bring the Fellowship to the table, but could any army list with only using Fellowship to be considered filthy? For example, Legolas and Boromir on horse and Elven Cloak. Obviously means any sort of
just combo of them.
No,
I don't think anyone would, because if you're taking the Fellowship heroes are good, but they're not game breaking.
No.
They're not like if you took Glorfindel the twins and Elendil would be a sort of even though they probably did exist at the same time, but they're you're not cherry picking.
Yeah.
You know, it's the Fellowship at this point, it's the Fellowship at that point.
Yeah.
These are the heroes that happen to be together. I think people would be fine with that.
Yeah. I don't really. Is there any combination of the Fellowship that it's hard to play against? Maybe Boromir, Aragorn, Legolas on horse.
Yeah.
Is the hardest, but then if you had like Gandalf on horse, but then that's how many points is that? So you would have
a big army
against 4 models, but no,
I don't think so. No, the Fellowship in the whole, putting them on horses makes them infinitely better, but I think you'd be fine.
Yeah.
It's when you start adding other people in as well. Like if you drop the hobbits and take a different hero, that's when it's like, well, you're not playing for the Fellowship.
Yeah. I was just I knew who was this much points, but looking at the books the other day, I didn't realise how Frodo is so expensive.
It's ridiculous.
I was just looking if you had his coat and his sting and
he's
Elven
like 90
Cloak.
points.
Yeah.
You can have Legolas or Frodo. It's like, well, Legolas.
And just look at, and then because he has his own rules for the ring, doesn't he? He doesn't have Bilbo's rules, so.
You look at Bilbo for 60 points, and the ring is so much more useful on Bilbo. For essentially the same profile.
Yeah.
Just a drop of defense of 3.
Sting should do more than just raising defense. Strength 3, shouldn't it?
I feel like Sting and Glamdring should both be Elven Blades.
Yeah.
And confer the bonus for having an Elven Blade.
Yeah.
Because it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It just seems bizarre that they're not.
Yeah.
I feel like Sting should have essentially would have been cool if they gave it like D3 wounds against spiders.
Yeah, that'd
have been a nice little themey rule.
Yeah.
You know, it got its name from killing spiders or
Yeah,
stabbing
yeah.
them, so give it a bonus against them, or even +1 to wound or something.
What bonus would you give to Glamdring?
I think that's one way you can say strength 5 is good.
Yeah.
Like, it increases your strength by 1.
Yeah, it is good, but because he's never in combat, really, is he? You never really notice it. Like, it's good to have, but it's not something you notice, is it?
Here's an interesting conundrum that sort of comes up every so often. I can't remember how it was drawn, so I'm going to just pick your brain on it, see if you can see what you'd think. So, Gandalf's been picked up and has been hurled.
Yeah.
Do you use his strength 4 or strength 5? Because Glamdring says he's strength 5 when he's wielding it.
I would say 4 because I don't know why, but
it just feels right, doesn't it?
It feels more right because you'd think that when he becomes strength 5 because of the power of the blade is making it
more likely to hurt than him being
rather
strong.
than him being a bit stronger.
I think that's how I would rule it, but I think it got ruled he's strength 5 for the hurl purpose.
But then what? If he's with his staff, he's strength 4, so he isn't strength 5.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Next up we got Ryan Shady Shaw. He says, "Hey, what's up, guys? How's things been? It's been good, thanks, Ryan. It's been ages since I last asked anything, so my loop has been completely broken. Hope you all had a good Christmas and New Year. And hey, James, I see you have a smile. What a killer. Anyway, my question is random. When is it ever normal or interesting?" And it is, do you think, just for a bit of fun, Rangers of Middle-earth would look awesome if they were painted after the assassins from the Assassin's Creed universe? Apologies for the random question. Thanks, guys. Ryan Shaw.
I've actually got an Assassin's Creed poster which I've been looking at throughout this.
Yeah, so that's my housemate. He's a big Assassin's Creed fan. We've got not Ezio, Tomahawk one.
I don't know. I'm not very familiar with the Assassin's Creed.
We've got Assassin's Creed 3 miniature up there, and we've got the original one. Who's the name? Altair in the other room as well. Yeah.
Painted like.
So in that style. I don't think Rangers of Middle-earth is the correct. So I think your Hasharins.
Yeah.
Like if you could sculpt them with a hood rather than a turban, if you got that sculpt, they would look much more like it, and they'd play like it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do they are they two different characters?
Yes, so they're different. That's. Do you know about the Assassin's Creed universe?
I know the game, but I didn't. I think I've only ever played the first. Was the Sands of Time? Is that Assassin's Creed thing? What am I? No, that's that's what is it?
Link, Zelda.
Yeah. What am I? What's the one where?
Was it Prince of Persia?
No, Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. No, see, I'm not familiar with it at all. No.
So the idea is that these guys are related, and you play as a person who goes back in time and sort of assumes their body. Like a digital memory. Something very weird to explain. Yeah. But they're two different people, not the same person.
Right, okay.
And they happen, he's like medieval
era,
and he's a bit further forward, gunpowder era.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the white and the red looks quite cool.
I'll tell you, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it could work, but I think the Sharans are better because they are assassins.
Yeah. Because the Rangers, not many of them have like a knife in
bits
one hand
and bobs,
and
a bow and a spear.
It's just
You have to convert them up if you want them to look cool. We've answered Jürgen Björvik, we've answered the Ilmar guy. Dr. Dan.
Dr. Dan, I've heard the two of you speak about war films in great detail, but neither of you have had mentioned The Longest Day. It's a great war film, and the only one in which all sides speak their actual languages throughout the film. English, German, French, and American. I've not seen that.
I've not seen it. That's probably why it's not been spoken about.
Yeah.
I didn't know it existed. I shall have a look at it because it sounds quite interesting.
Yeah.
Hopefully there were subtitles.
I went to see The Revenant the other day. You know, the Leonardo DiCaprio film.
How is it? I've heard various things about it.
He should definitely win an Oscar for it 'cause he is really good in it. But the film, it dragged a little bit. I found.
That's what I've heard from people as well. That the film itself wasn't great.
The storyline was very simple. I mean,
yeah.
not really spoilers, but basically, as you can tell from the trailers, someone kills his son and he goes and tries and finds him, and that's the whole of the story.
Yeah.
There's no other thing about it.
Oh.
But I went and we didn't realise that it was the subtitles version.
So the hearing impaired.
Hearing impaired one. So that was weird because, because there's the Native American people, people that they speak in their native language, so there were already subtitles for them anyway. So it didn't really, there wasn't that much extra speech that was.
Right.
But that was weird watching a film with subtitles that you didn't really need to.
I remember when I used to work at the cinema, people would watch that film with the hearing impaired, not realising it was.
Yeah.
And you'd always go out and go, why's it got subtitles? It's like, this is a special screening for hearing impaired.
Yeah.
If you've not enjoyed it, you can get a free ticket for
Yeah.
show if you want.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah, I'd say watch it. I mean, it's quite a long film. He's really good in it, but
I find a lot of the films he's in are quite long.
yeah,
Like Wolf of Wall 3, that's a long film.
I've not seen that yet.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
My DVD, it was broke halfway through watching it, so
Oh, really?
it's come on Netflix and I intend to finish it off.
Yeah, to finish it. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I've not seen that war film.
Next up we got Andreas the Norwegian Viking, who is coming to the Desolation of Stockport.
Nice one.
He was the first person to get his ticket.
Ah, sweet.
He says, "We are indeed excited for Audicon. I'll also be bringing my newly crowned Norwegian champion head to the Desolation of Stockport in April as well, and look forward to seeing everyone there. We look forward to seeing you as well." Don't raid England though. He says, "I'm struggling to fit stuff in at 400 points. Good. That's what it's there for. And I thought 500 points was a tough value. Well, that's why it's 400.
Yeah.
A couple of great beasts and a few bat swarms and 2 heroes maybe. A couple of great beasts.
A couple of great.
Wow.
How much is a great beast?
I can't think off the top of my head.
Like 150.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know.
Maybe you would hit 2 heroes that maybe 1 hero. It'd be interesting because they're like mini mullets.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Will McAllister. We shall see you in Stockport soon.
Yep. So I've just got my first GBHL event ticket for Scouring of Cheshire. Sorry, Cheshire. Cheshire. But I'm hoping to get to Stockport in the meantime.
Good man.
I'm playing purely for fun, but at the same time don't want to get stuffed. So how's this for 400 points?
Mm-hmm.
First warband is Gothmorg with a shield, with 5 Morannons with shields and 5 regular orcs with spears. Taskmaster, 5 orcs with shields and a troll. Cheers fellas, keep up the good work.
You got Gothmog and a troll in there, so that's not bad, and the Taskmaster's good.
Yeah.
I think it's quite funny because you might actually struggle for might. You got too much might for that Killer King scenario, but it's only one of them. So
yeah, and with Gothmog's special rule,
he doesn't have to call the heroic.
He doesn't spend as much might as most do, so you might not need the Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I guess the Taskmaster's there sort of to whip itself to heroic march, maybe to get into combat.
I mean, you've only got.
I think there's a point there. You could drop the Taskmaster for an Orc Captain, and boost your Orcs into Morannons to make them all defense 6 probably.
Yeah.
Or maybe just hoard out and get more Orcs because you are a little on the low side of numbers.
Yeah, and maybe try and mount on a Warg because that's
where
3 attack hero with the 3 heroic. Basically, if you're charging
4 attacks, 8
Yeah.
on the knockdown, he gets infinitely better.
Good though.
Yeah. Next up, we got Larry Miller.
If I post a question in this one, will it be answered? Yes.
Yes. We answer this question in the other one as well.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Who Else But Haldir. He says, "Yeah, West Coast Hobbits." I guess that's his gaming colour, I think, from last episode.
Right,
If I remember correctly. He says, "Anyway, my question this week is: do you think that a 500-point fiefdoms army with Imrahil, Forlong, and Angbor leading 24 or so assorted fiefdom troops would be viable?" 500 points, yeah. If you got those 3 heroes, they're good heroes.
Yeah.
24 troops is probably a little bit on the low side for 500 points, but
yeah,
Imrahil will have to do a lot of chopping up.
Yeah. Maybe drop Angbor.
Angbor the Fearless.
Bulk up on. I suppose if you've only got 24 troops, then what can you bulk up on? Because your warbands are full. It depends what troops it is, doesn't it? 'Cause What are the really good ones?
The Axemen are really good, who are defence 5 and can spear support or two-handed pierce and strike. The Clansmen are a little bit of a letdown, just because...
Are they the ones with a pike or the ones with a sword?
Big sword. The Scottish.
Yeah.
That's why they're a letdown.
Yeah.
No, they are good, and they can charge terrifying stuff. They get +2 courage to do it. The pikemen, the men-at-arms of Dalamroth,
that's it, yeah.
They're pretty deep. They're very good with Imrahil being around because they get the banner reroll. And Foot Knights of Dalamroth and Swan Knights are really good as well.
Yeah. The archers are letdowns, aren't they?
Yeah, the Blackroot Vale, don't take them.
No.
Or maybe you have to because you need some bows.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Blackroot Vale, the fact they're courage 2 and fight 3 and no spears is a...
And the rule is to re-roll again.
Re-roll failed wounds against
monsters. Yeah.
And most of the time you need 6s by 4s. It's just it doesn't pay off.
Strength 2. What is there any monster you would need less than a 6 to wound?
Spider Queen.
Spider Queen.
But she hardly turns up anymore anyway.
Yeah.
So. Finally,
Robert Camp. Hello James and Jamie. My first question to you this week involves Rivendell Knights. If a knight gets dismounted, what happens to its war gear? What does it keep? And if it keeps it all, are you going to have to convert your foot troops to have all the weapons? My second question is, what would be the fluffiest army you have chosen to date, and how much fun was it to use? I'm thinking of creating a list involving the relief of Helm's Deep with Éomer, Gandalf, etc. and wondered how fun you think this may be. In brackets, I don't want to be competitive with it. Thanks again guys, hope you're having a good start to the new year.
Oh, fantastic, thank you very much. So, first question, Rivendell Knights. If they get dismounted, they can't drop war gear like they used to be able to when you got dismounted and you had Expert Rider. So you do keep all your gear, which means you drop to defence 5, which is a real hindrance for them really, but they need some weakness.
You do in theory lose the lance because you can't use them on foot obviously.
Yeah. Unless you run really fast.
Yeah.
Heroic march. They charge you.
I don't think you have to convert them really.
No,
maybe
you
not warriors people with bow main probably because. You need to answer that.
No. Jay tends to call me from his pocket. He was calling me via Facebook for a FaceTime conversation.
Maybe he just really wanted to see your face.
Yeah, we can go on the YouTube channel.
I think people tend to use elf warriors before, don't they?
They do, you know. Yeah. If you're using Rivendell Force as well, then just paint them maybe a little bit differently, so you can keep a track of them.
Yeah.
Second question is, what would be the fluffiest army you've used to date, and how much fun was it to use? Mine would be probably the 9 on horseback, and that was great fun to use.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
Up in Stirling. And yourself?
I don't really know because I don't really play a whole variety of different things. I tend to I play Isengard, but I never use a shaman. I don't really like shamans. Yeah. Good. So that's quite fluffy. Yeah. I don't know. I just never saw the appeal to them. Maybe I'll change my mind one day when I want to get really competitive.
Yeah. They are very good. They are very, very good. But it's just, you see them in every list that they can come in now, so it's just a little bit mundane. Yeah. I always think of it's quite a might drop as well. I always find, but I never really find how you can fit them in because the might they have is going to be spent on Channel Fury. Yeah. So then, if you only have 2 warbands, that means you've only really got 3 might.
If
you've taken a 3 might hero. Yeah.
So I don't know how do people fit it in. I suppose I guess you have to drop troops, don't you?
Yeah, drop troops, or you just accept that you're going to be charged because you will lose heroics.
Yeah.
So you need the fury to withstand the battering that you'll take.
Yeah.
And I guess if you play for it, you get to counter them. You then get to counter charge.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So when they hit you, you then get to wrap. I guess that's the way around it.
Yeah. But yeah, the 9 on horseback is definitely unnamed as well.
Unnamed, by the Witch King.
Yeah, by the Witch King.
That was cool. That was good fun.
Could you say you could have Camel because he is named?
Yeah, he is named. I was actually thinking this when we were talking about it earlier. I was like, did I cheat? Because I don't know if you can take 8 unnamed because Kamal's named.
Yeah.
But I think you can.
Yeah. That would make it a little bit more competitive as well. Yeah. Because you can.
Actually, have one guy do combat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is it for Speak for Any Question this week.
Yep.
As ever, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. Be sure to comment below to get your questions in for next week. And make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe.
Support your Hobbit posts down below in the links.
Yep. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Support your Hobbit.
And happy strategy battle gaming, everybody. Nailed it. Sweet.
Boom. Is that the usual
Yeah.
answer that you say?